Check out my bite. That is absolutely...
Chef Brian Sal losing his hat, but not out of disappointment, just out of pure beauty. Okay. I get myself together again.
Sure you don't need to go change.
Chef Brian Sal here, not your typical chef, and today I'm gonna be reacting with... It's Jordan Herridge. This is the man who edits all my videos, or almost all of my videos, for Pro Chef Reacts on the Chef Brian Sal channel. Welcome, man.
Well, thank you for having me.
Jordan's in town from the UK, visiting on holiday, and I figure what a great way to change things up on the channel by featuring guests, and who better to feature than the man that makes it happen behind the scenes.
Very weird seeing myself on a camera.
Today, we're gonna be reacting to Guga Foods' I Cook Every Meat in a Toaster Oven. It blew my mind.
Proper student cooking. Let's go.
Before we go on with today's episode, we do want to give a special shout out to all of our amazing sous chef level patrons. Guys, you along with all the patrons really do make a difference on this channel. And remember, by becoming a patron, you get to take advantage of some awesome perks like early access to new episodes, but more importantly, patron exclusive content.
Where I live, all I have is a tiny little oven like that. So I can actually cook properly.
So you can,
hopefully.
You can probably learn something from this.
Yeah,
All right.
maybe. Hopefully we'll learn some good cooking.
Today I'm gonna show you how I took my toaster oven to a whole new level. Not only making incredible looking dishes, but most importantly, absolutely delicious. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to make 5-star food restaurant only using your toaster oven and nothing else.
Oh my
When I say I'm
goodness.
talking about delicious...
Look at that crispy pork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to go do some cooking in a
This
minute.
is cooking every meat only using my toaster oven. So let's do it.
I mean, I've literally just had lunch down at the shop and I am hungry all over again. And it is not fair.
I didn't have lunch yet, and I always seem to make that mistake when I'm reacting to these Guga videos.
This is one of the most popular steaks in the world. A lot of people claim there is not a lot of flavor, and they are actually right. But even though it does lack some flavor, it makes it up with tenderness. This is the most tender part of the cow.
Spot on. Filet mignon is known for its tenderness. I think it's a cut of beef that really benefits from some form of dry aging. When you dry age something, it removes some of the moisture content. It helps tenderize it a little further, but it adds a little bit of like funkiness and a little bit of like nuttiness to the flavor. Really like develops the flavor, like again, because filet mignon is generally a pretty, as far as beef cuts go, pretty flavorful. Yeah, pretty bland. It's very tender for a very specific reason, because it's located actually on the inside of your rib cage, right? So if you look at a cow, it's like it's behind all the internal organs, and because of that, it doesn't really get worked. You know, it doesn't move a lot, so that's why it's so tender, versus where it comes from the shank, where, you know, the cow is on their feet all the time. So that's why the muscle there tends to be very fibrous, has very thick muscle structure, and it's typically a cut of beef that you need to cook low and slow to tenderize. Yeah, filet mignon's awesome, man. I personally prefer a ribeye. That's just me.
I'm just happy with whatever kind of steak I get.
Coated with a
Welcome
nice
to
high
the
heat oil.
British
This will ensure
culinary
that
scene.
my seasoning will stick. I'm using grapeseed oil, and I definitely
oil?
recommend it.
Great. Okay, grapeseed oil is a great choice because it is a high smoke point oil.
Freshly ground black pepper, and of course, garlic powder.
Do we start a drinking game with each new fact I find out today?
Let's do that. That's today's drinking game. Every time there's a new fact that Jordan learns, we take a shot. We're not taking shots though. We had one too many shots because yesterday we actually had dinner with Nigel Ung.
You had one too many shots.
I had many shots. Yes, that's true. Actually, no, I did drink significantly more than you guys. But, and I haven't done that in a while. I'm hurting right now. I'm hurting real bad.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
So I need y'all to join me in my pain, but Jordan will pop in a photo from last night's antics.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, it was such a blast.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Nigel did his last show in the US on this past Sunday. Today's Tuesday. We had dinner yesterday, just hung out. No collab coming. It was just literally a hang session. We had a great time, but let's keep watching. This is about Guga.
That's
not
true.
Uncle Roger. Before we go on with this, how do you prefer to have your steak? Like seasoning wise, or like what's your favorite way?
I mean, honestly, the best steak I had was one we had last night. I'm not joking. That was what?
That was a good one.
That was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. So we went to Beauty in Essex, my old stomping grounds, a restaurant I used to work at, and I took Nigel and Matt and his wonderful fiance or wife. I don't remember, but
I think they're married.
Yeah, they're married. Okay, yeah. So Matt, Gemma, Nigel, and Jordan and myself, and we had this wonderful Pat LaFrida dry aged steak. And it was pretty awesome.
Now here's the thing with a toaster oven. Now what I'm gonna do is challenge myself not to use anything but the toaster oven through this entire video.
Okay.
Now I do want to get some searing on this beautiful steak. And I know if I put my steak there in the toaster oven at high temperature to sear it, it will also start cooking. I could use a torch, and I definitely recommend you getting one if you don't have one. But hey, that would just be not fair, because we all know that already works, and that's not gonna be a challenge.
Right.
So I went to my next best thing, which is a cast iron pan. And I put it in my oven at 500 degrees Fahrenheit to heat that up. And my thought behind it is that the cast iron will keep its heat. So hopefully that will be enough to sear the steak. So after about 10 minutes in the oven, I took it out.
Nice.
And I immediately pour in my steak. Now you gotta hold it there for at least a minute and a half. If not, it's not gonna do anything. And after the time was up, this is what I got. As you can see, kind of
pretty
worked,
anemic.
but not perfectly.
Yeah.
So I quickly heat up the pan once again, and then I tried it one more time. And after the time was up, this is what I got. I'm a huge fan of a crust, but hey, that's not bad. I like
That's
that.
not bad
So
at
once I knew it
all.
actually worked, I did the same thing on the other side. And as you can see, I got a nice, beautiful sear.
For me, I would have done this slightly differently. The principle's pretty much there. A toaster oven, you generally can't set it past 500 degrees. That's generally the highest it'll go. And even many home ovens, I think like it doesn't go past 550 or something like that. The way I would have approached this is actually put the skillet in with the oil.
Heat it all up, and then
You'll get it to that smoke point and then put in that steak. Granted, however, the pan with the oil in such close proximity to the heating elements could be a little dangerous.
almost definitely.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that bad because it's not like you're putting in water into it where it'll splash up and flare up and possibly catch fire. But yeah, I would have put in a touch of oil in there. Not a lot.
Just enough to coat the bottom.
Enough to coat the bottom where like if you move the pan around, you could actually see the oil move around. Yeah. And then, you know, just heat it up in the oven and get it smoky. I think he would have gotten a much better result, in my opinion. That's not a great sear. Guga, you know, mentions that it's not exactly a great sear, but for what, you know, for what it is, it's the best he can do right now.
It's better than you're gonna get back at home.
This guy has nothing good to say about the food back at home.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible. If you try and disagree with me, you are wrong.
This guy had the nerve to bring me pre-packaged egg fried rice as a gift from the UK, so.
I've got that all on video, don't worry, I forgot.
Oh, you do? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we filmed it.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys, I know how much you would love and appreciate what I do for you. Oh, fuck off.
Little
What the hell is that? Chef Nick, I got lunch for us.
Fried rice in a pan?
Yes. Jesus Christ, does it really have chunks of egg in there?
Yep.
That's disgusting, and this is at room temperature?
Yep.
What's wrong with you? You're a terrible friend.
The oven at 250 degrees Fahrenheit until I reach an internal temperature of
Chloe's asked me to
135, which will
apologise
give
on her
me a
behalf for
medium
that
rare.
every
Since now I
single day
have
this
30
week.
minutes, I decided to come up with a simple...
Okay, so he put in the steak at 250 degrees. To me, that's a little low, but I think he's going for low and slow. This looks like some kind of hollandaise sauce.
The first thing I did was to melt some butter inside of the oven. Then I added a little bit of garlic paste, followed by a pinch of Dijon mustard, and of course, heavy cream.
Okay, it's not hollandaise sauce. Hollandaise sauce is usually what comes with like Eggs Benedict. It's one of the mother sauces. I'm simplifying it right now, but basically it's egg with a little bit of vinegar, and then you whisk in butter, and it comes out with this velvety, smooth, creamy sauce. It looked very similar. I think it'll have a similar texture, but this is not hollandaise sauce.
That's another thing I didn't know. Have another shot.
Have another shot.
As you can see, after stirring it for quite a bit, it became a nice sauce. And I was super pumped for that. To finish off the sauce, I threw in a little bit of black pepper, mix it well, and there we have it. A sauce without actually any pan. That is amazing. If you live somewhere that you don't have access to a stove, there you go. The next thing to do is to put it in the oven and let it heat up with my steak. Even though I thought it was gonna take only 30 minutes for my steak, I was totally wrong. At the end, it was 46 minutes, and it was cooked to perfectly medium rare to 135 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, 135 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the perfect medium rare. Generally, you want to pull it out a little sooner.
So then carry over cooking.
And then it carry over cook. I see.
I do kind of learn things.
Jordan does pay attention after all.
Rude.
He said that it took like 45 minutes. I think if he did it at like 350, it would have taken that 20 minutes that he initially anticipated. But I thought about it as I was watching. I think he actually did it low and slow because even though the temperature of the toaster oven was set to 250 degrees, the heating elements are still very close to the actual cooking product. You know, I don't know exactly how the technology works, but I do know that there's a sensor in there that detects the ambient temperature within the oven. And basically the toaster oven, the heating elements, I don't think they actually like range in actual temperature.
Yeah,
greatly.
They just stupid hot.
Yeah, they get hot, and like it does get a little hotter at a higher setting, but generally it's like a consistent temperature, but the heating element, like it turns off after it hits a certain point.
Yeah, I know in my one it kind of fluctuates a little bit.
Right.
So it'll get like up to temperature, and then you'll hear like a little tick on it, and the light will go off.
Right.
And then when it drops down a little bit too much, you see the light come back up, and you can hear it kind of revving itself back up a little bit.
Yep.
So then it kind of like fluctuates a little bit, but it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Oh yes, my friends. That is just mouth-watering already. To finish it up, I threw in a little bit of chives, and it's time to slice it open. It's perfectly medium rare and exactly what I was looking for. Let me remind you, this was done in a toaster oven. And when I took my first bite, and just in case you are wondering, I finished all of it. The next one is going to be a beautiful Florida lobster.
Jordan, do you know what kind of lobster tail that is by any chance?
I don't have the slightest clue. I know next to nothing about seafood.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, that is a West Coast lobster tail. And the West Coast lobsters, they don't have claws. They only have the tail meat. You can kind of think of them like an oversized crayfish. I think they do have claws, but it's just very small, not like Northeast American lobsters.
They're like unit claws.
Yeah, they have huge claws. And the giveaway is the dots on the shell. Generally, the West Coast lobsters will have those little dots. Actually, no, I don't think that's West Coast. I actually think that's like Florida coast lobster. Did you learn something?
Yeah.
Take a shot.
Gonna learn a lot of things.
I am using Florida lobster tail.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was right. It's a Florida lobster tail, so it's a Florida coast lobster tail.
If you have Maine available, it should work just as good. To make a nice, beautiful presentation, the first thing I like to do is to remove all the flappers. This is definitely not necessary, but it makes a beautiful presentation at the end, and I recommend it if you have the time. The next thing you want to do is to cut it open right in the middle. Using the scissor makes the job really easy. Just cut the shell until you get almost towards the end.
Nice.
Now, using your hand, carefully open it up. As you can see, my lobster is still kind of frozen, and that's exactly what you want to do with seafood. Keep it as cold as possible, especially if they are not fresh. By the time I was done, this is what it looks like.
Nice.
We just gotta lay the meat right on top of the shell. That will give you a beautiful presentation at the end, just like they do it in the restaurants.
I mean, to me it looks a bit like a xenomorph, but...
Then I transferred it to a cooling rack to make sure the heat goes all the way around.
Yep.
If you put it directly on the tray, you will prevent the shell from becoming red.
I definitely agree with him. With frozen fish, you basically want to work with it as cold as possible because once you defrost it, it will degrade very quickly. Did you learn something?
I actually knew that. I'm sorry to disappoint.
Oh, damn it.
But I didn't realise, and this is probably going to sound really stupid, and you can blame their childhood for watching far too much SpongeBob for this, that lobsters weren't actually red. Well, for the most part, yeah. I had no idea.
You had no idea? Yeah, they only turn red when you cook them, so...
I didn't know that.
Take a shot.
There you go.
With Northeast lobsters, you actually want to work with it live. So you basically kill the lobster right before you're going to cook it. The more humane way of doing it, when I used to do this lobster bolognese dish way back in the day, and you always stabbed it in the head to kill the lobster first before you threw it into the boiling water.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a bit grim.
Yeah, it is a bit grim.
It's pretty grim.
It's super metal. Super heavy metal.
Oh, it's Spaz Aussie with a bat.
Add them to the tray and put them in the oven at my highest setting on my broiler, which actually was at 500 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. You are looking for an internal temperature of 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That will give you a perfect doneness for your lobster. And of course, we all know that butter and lobster is the perfect marriage. So after melting a little bit of butter, I threw in some garlic paste and smoked paprika. Mixed everything well and my butter sauce was ready for my lobster. After 10 minutes, you can clearly see the shell changing color and also the lobster becoming from translucent to a solid white. Once that's done, you know your lobster is fully cooked. The next thing to do is to first baste it with that lemon. And don't be shy, my friends, because the lemon was cooked, it's now sweeter. And I recommend throwing the whole thing at it. Once that was done, of course, we gotta go in with our butter. Oh, come on. That is what I'm talking about. To give some color and smoky flavor, I threw in a little bit of smoked paprika.
I love smoked paprika, but it definitely has its applications, and it's very distinct and a very powerful aroma. So you definitely want to be like, a little bit goes a long way, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely.
Did you learn something?
Kind of, yeah.
Take a shot. Take a half a shot. Hey everyone, hope you're enjoying this episode, because there is an extended cut up on my Patreon. Be sure to visit the link in the description below. If you're already a patron, you already get access. But if you don't want to become a patron, do me a big favor. Hit the thumbs up, leave a comment. It's a little thing for you, but really goes a long way for me. And with that said, let's get back to the episode.
There's no way you would ever guess that it was done completely in a toaster oven.
Yeah, if you presented this to me, I would not have guessed it was done in a toaster oven.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
That is amazingly impressive. But also, it looks a lot better than anything you get in any British pub.
Well, I don't know. At British pubs, I thought it was just bangers and mash and fish and chips. Is that racist? Did I just say something really racist?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really, no.
I mean, like, that's a great thing to get bangers and mash and fish and chips and beers. That sounds like a party to me, actually.
Yeah, oh, there you go. When you come over, I'll treat you a Tesco meal deal, Greg's, Spoon's breakfast fry-up, and then a nice fancy little cottage pub.
I have no idea what he just said, but I'm pretty sure it'll be delicious.
It will not be.
And if you cooked everything correctly, check it out. You don't even need a knife. Ooh. That is what we're...
I'm not going to get cancelled for saying Tesco's meal deal isn't great.
And after I took my first bite, oh, come on. That is amazing. It is incredible. I couldn't wait to go for the second one. Now let's move into pork belly. And can you hear that crunch?
Oh,
yes, that's exactly what we're always looking for when we're making pork belly. And once you know the secret how to do it, it's easy.
Oh, that looks like a sweet soy with a little bit of chili flake and scallion. Classic
that looks
combination. Yeah, with just some like meat, or you can basically make that dipping sauce for any protein. It'll be absolutely, not even protein, like even veggies. It's absolutely delicious. It's something I grew up eating. Something very similar to that, rather. Do they sell that at Tesco's?
Oh God, no.
What is a Tesco?
It's a pretty crap supermarket.
Oh, it's a supermarket, and it's crap.
Yeah, I mean most of them are. Most of our supermarkets.
What makes a supermarket crap?
Being British.
Do they sell chili jam there?
Yeah, they actually do.
God, fuck that chili
jam.
The
best part was actually after I first edited that episode. Story time. We went, me and a few friends went down the pub and we stopped off in Tesco's on the way back. And my friends thought it'd be really, really, really funny, and you know who you are, and you can, actually no, I can't say that, we'll get demonetized. Yeah, they thought it'd be a really smart and funny idea to get packet rice and chili jam, which bear in mind, are on two completely different sides of our local Tesco's. And they decided they were going to pair them all up on the shelves and be like, hey Jordan, come and look at this. I'm like, what is wrong with you lot? Why?
Your friends are bad people.
I know.
Very bad people.
I'm probably the worst of them.
But you know what I learned today?
What?
I learned that your friends are bad people. I learned something. Take a shot.
And of course, we start off with the pork belly.
Beautiful
Always
pork
look
belly.
for ones that have the most amount of meat. Because by default, it already has plenty of fat. And one of the things that it's always lacking is meat. In this case, and this case only, less fat is actually better. Also, it is a requirement to have the skin on. Without the skin, it's just a no-go. The first thing to do is to scrape the skin as much as possible with a paring knife. This will help take out any moisture there is on the surface. And check it out. This is exactly what you're looking for. Make sure you scrape that off as much as possible. Then you want to use a meat tenderizer, or if you don't have one, you can also use a fork. What you're really trying to do is to poke some holes to allow the moistures to escape. And as you can see, after I did that, check out all that moisture. That is exactly what you're looking for. The less moisture, the more crispy your pork belly will be.
You guys are gonna have to take another shot because I learned something. So when I prepared crispy pork belly like that, generally we just use the knife and just stab it, you know, many times, and I just think of past ex-girlfriends. No. What do you call? Oh, am I gonna get canceled for that?
I mean, probably.
Yeah, probably. Okay. So, but I've never took the knife and actually scraped it against the pork. So that's something new for me. What he's using with that meat tenderizer is more or less emulating what I was doing with the knife. And the whole purpose of that is, yes, to remove moisture, but another very important reason to do that is as it cooks, the fat will render out.
Ah, I didn't know that at all.
So you learned something just.
I'm definitely gonna have to take that home.
I think at this point, everyone's had like 10 shots. So
probably thereabout. I'll total it up in post.
I'm pretty sure everyone's like getting ready to go to the hospital now.
I mean, if they're British, they're just getting started. If they're American, oh God, yeah, you're probably down the ER already.
Tower, the next thing to do is to make a boat. Let me explain a little better. Using an aluminum foil, place your pork belly right on top. Fold the edges until you have at least ½ an inch of clearance. At the same time, make sure everything is tight. Then you want to cover the whole thing with kosher salt. It is important that you do not use table salt because it's too fine. And instead of pulling the moisture out, which is what we want, you are actually going to make it salty. You can either use kosher salt or rock salt. By the time you're done, this is what you're looking for. Now place it in your refrigerator for a total of 12 hours.
Can you imagine doing that with MSG?
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Oh. So he popped this into the fridge for however many hours, and that's so that the salt can draw out the moisture, and this will give you a really great crispy skin when you bake it. One technique that I generally do is a combination of baking soda and salt 1-to-1, and you more or less do the same thing, and then you wash it off with vinegar to deactivate the baking soda. And what the baking soda does, it actually the salt will draw out the moisture, but the baking soda will tenderize the skin, so you have an even more tender, crispy skin. It's almost like a cracklin at that point. Yeah. His was also fantastic too, but it's even when you add in the baking soda, actually makes it even more crispy.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna have to take that one home then.
Yeah. Did you learn something?
Definitely. We are not responsible for any fatalities caused by this. I hope you know. You brought it on yourselves.
Check it out, you can automatically tell that it's a different color. That is a sign that the salt did its job. Now I know it seems redundant, but once again, you gotta make a new boat. No, you cannot use the same one you just did, because the structure will be compromised. So you have to make a new boat. And when we're done, we're gonna repeat the process one more time, and that's to fill it up everything with salt. Make sure you have the whole thing covered, including the edges. Set your toaster oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. Put it on the lowest rack and let it cook. We want to render that fat as much as we can. Once the 1 hour was up, this is what I got. As you can see, the salt once again did its job. It almost pulled out all of the moisture from the skin. Now you gotta make sure you remove all of the salt. You don't want any of that in your actual pork belly. If not, it's gonna be way too salty. And check out that render pork fat. Now here's where that salt comes in. Mix that together with your pork fat, and it will make an amazing seasoning salt for you to season anything you want.
Use that on some roast potatoes. Gorgeous.
So that technique is one of the reasons why I generally don't use it, because it has a lot of waste, whereas with the baking soda and salt technique, we don't make a boat for it, we just coat it on top, and we, and it's just generally a lot less waste.
As you can see, the skin already started to bubble up a little bit. That is a good sign. Set your oven to broil at its highest setting. Throw it in the oven so it can do its job. It usually takes about 10 minutes, so keep an eye on it. Because we have a little bit of time, I decided to make a dipping sauce, and here's how. I started with 5 tablespoons of soy sauce, followed by 2 tablespoons of ponzu sauce, 1 tablespoon of red white vinegar, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and half a tablespoon of chili oil. To finish it off, I throw in green onions, and to dilute the flavor a little bit, about 2 tablespoons of water. Mix everything well and your dipping sauce is done.
My mom does something similar, not necessarily with ponzu sauce, but she will put in rice vinegar and sugar.
What is ponzu sauce?
Ponzu, it's like a yuzu-based sauce, like a citrusy Japanese dipping sauce, more or less, you know, to simplify it. It's just a really popular dipping condiment, and you can buy the ponzu sauce pre-made in bottles.
This is incredible. And to pair it up with our pork belly is just perfect.
So
Talking about pork belly, it's time
really
to check
have
it.
eaten
And as you
before
can
this.
see,
We
the
really
toaster
need to
oven is
chicharron
doing
paste.
its job. And at the very last moment, you're gonna see a mountain coming up. That is a sign that everything is working exactly as it should.
That
and
is
after
beautiful.
exactly 10 minutes,
I
check
feel like
it
a kid at
out.
Christmas.
This, friends,
So if you notice some of that like, you know, rough texture, I mean, all of it has rough texture, but when you do the baking soda, it's a lot more consistent of that texture, yeah. Did you learn something?
I did. I'm not even sorry anymore.
do everything the same exactly I did, you will have the same result.
Did he film this all in one day? That's a lot of food to be eating in one sitting.
If you did, I am impressed. I am damn
Guga,
impressed.
I'm coming over. I'm coming over.
Hope you're getting me a flight as well.
You know, that is possible. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell, join Patreon, and help get this guy a ticket so we can go visit Guga in Miami.
And so that I can escape the UK again. It's a horrible place. Please don't ever visit there. No, I am small enough to fit in a suitcase.
And I'll tell you one thing, all of your family will thank you later. Now the only thing left to do is to cut it open, but first, I'm gonna let you hear this once again. I don't have to tell you it's crunchy, do I? Check out my bite. That is absolutely...
Chef Brian Sal losing his hat, but not out of disappointment, just out of pure beauty. Okay. I get myself together again.
Sure you don't need to go change.
And check that out, my friends. You tell me. That is phenomenal.
That
now
is
to make it even better is to
beautiful.
dip it in the dipping sauce. And wow, come on. That should be illegal. It's too good.
Yes, it should be illegal.
Fatty,
It should be illegal. You've shown us,
salty,
not
just
giving us
basically
any.
melts in your mouth and then the crunch hits you. My friends, please try this one at home. It is not hard to make.
For this type of pork belly preparation, you know, the better technique of cutting it is to, I think he is using a Chinese style cleaver, but is actually to go down fast so that it like just breaks through that skin very quickly and a bit more cleanly. If you use like a traditional technique of actually trying to slice into it, it will...
It ends badly, yeah.
Yeah, not badly, but it doesn't cut as nicely.
I know, trust me, it ends badly at mine, because you see my little brother tries to go through it with a knife and fork and oh no. Oh no.
Get yourself some pork belly and enjoy.
Generally with Guga's videos, I don't have much to add, and usually I learn something from it. So
Yeah.
learn lots of things. To the point, if I was taking shots with you guys, I'd probably have a pickled liver right now.
Probably. That's what you got me here for.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, it's so good to have you back stateside, man. He was actually here earlier in the year, but we didn't have time to film anything. I was in the process of building out the shop. You're back. You got to visit the shop after it's open.
Really nice because the shop opened not long after I went back, wasn't it? So you're just in like kind of the final throes of
Yes.
getting everything put together, and now to see it like from being kind of bare bones and then watching it kind of build up and now to be fully functioning and running is it's fantastic, quite frankly.
It's fantastic.
It's lovely to see.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have you here. Always love having you here.
Aw.
So with that said, guys, hope you enjoyed this video as much as we did making it. And remember, don't be afraid to fail, because it could only make you stronger. And with that said, I'm Chef Brian Sal, not your typical chef.
And I am the useless British editor. We're going with that one.
This is Jordan Herridge. We'll see you guys next time. Take care. I missed my tagline of I'll see you really soon. But whatever. Yeah. Bye.
See you at some point.
See ya.